This is a quick start guide on how to install Python on a Windows computer. The very first thing we want to do is to remove old Python distributions. So what I do is come to the search here and do add or remove programs and go ahead and select that, and it's going to bring up a list of applications that you have. Now we're going to scroll down to the Python, and there might be things like Anaconda or Python old versions. So just go ahead and click uninstall and remove those just to get those off the computer before you're going to install Python 3.7. So I'm going to go through the process of uninstalling all of these and clean it up. It says that the uninstall was successful. I'll go ahead and close this window. Now I'll also get rid of PyLauncher, uninstall that one, and then also we'll need to uninstall Python 3, the Anaconda distribution as well. Okay, so it's going to prepare to remove this, and then once everything's gone, we'll continue on with the video. The final one is Anaconda. I just recommend uninstalling this one before installing the python.org versions, just because there's going to be some paths and other things that will interfere with it. You can always download it and install it again if needed. So go ahead and just clear out all of the Python packages that are there, and once those are done, you'll have a fresh start and be able to install the package from python.org. The Anaconda distribution is now uninstalled. Click Next and Finish. We can close this now if there are no other Python distributions that are installed. The next thing we're going to do is browse to python.org and download the installer. So let's go open up a web browser and just take you to python.org. And there's going to be a couple options here under the downloads. So the very first one is going to be that we're going to cover is Windows. We'll also cover how to install this on Linux as well, although you don't really need a download executable from this website for Linux. So we'll go ahead and select Windows, and there are a couple different options. Python 3.7 was just released. Python 2.7 is also a popular older version. We're going to select Python 3.7. Now they make it kind of difficult here to see what you want to download. So one of the things you can do is, if you make this full screen, you just go to Downloads and go to Python 3.7 here. The other thing you can do is when you come here to the link is just select it. You can go down, look at some of the release notes, etc. Or you can just come here to the executable installer. So I'd recommend getting this one, the executable installer, or by default just select this button and it will get the executable installer for you. Okay, I'm going to go Save As and put that somewhere where you can find it. I'm going to put this on the desktop. Okay, now we have our installer, and we'll go ahead and just start this. It'll ask you where to install, and by default it's going to install to this very long path here. I'm going to do something different and select Custom Install. Another thing you can do is select Add Python 3.7 to Path, and I recommend doing that because we're going to need features like the pip for installing packages. Okay, we're going to customize. You can just select Next on this one, and then let's just change our path. Just go ahead and remove all of that and select Python37. And so this is going to be the customized installation location, and we'll click Install. You know, it's installing Python 3.7, but it doesn't have a lot of the packages that you might need that go along with Python as well. Other distributions like Anaconda or PyCharm, they're much more comprehensive packages that include things like NumPy, SciPy, Matplotlib, and other packages that are common. Okay, it's going to go through the setup process. Now again, this is a 32-bit version of Python. That shouldn't be a problem even if you're on a 64-bit computer, because you can run 32-bit applications on a 64-bit computer. Now if you're dealing with large data files greater than 2 or 4 gigabytes, in size, then you might need a 64 gigabyte version, and for that I do recommend Anaconda. Okay, so it's finalizing some of the setup. Just go ahead and let it go, and it says setup was successful. You can close this window. Okay, so we've installed to this folder, and let's just go ahead and open that up. I'm going to open up Explorer and go to my PC, and here is Python37. We already uninstalled Python36. You can just delete that folder if you'd like. Your old distributions there, those are going to take up a lot of room on the hard drive. Okay, and inside there you're going to see this folder. Inside scripts is going to be Pip, the Pip Installer. And so we want to be able to make sure that's added to our path environment variable. So I'm going to go down to Windows and just type env, and that will bring up an option for edit the system environment variables. And then if I come down here to environment variables, it's going to show us where we can find our path environment variable, and I'll select edit. Now it looks like it hasn't added it here yet, so if it hasn't added it from the installer, you can always click new and then do C:python37, and I'll add a new one as well, C:python37 Scripts. That's going to be for our Pip installer. Okay, and then when I click OK, it's added those. Okay, so we've added to our environment variable those two paths. Okay, that helps us when we open up a command window. We can now install additional packages. So just type cmd and enter, and that will bring up this command window. Now if you didn't put in the path environment variable, you'll need to navigate to your folder, okay, and go to scripts. But if you did put that in there, then you can just start from wherever you are, and it should be able to find pip for you, okay, with all the options. So I just type pip there, or you can type pip help, and it will give you a list of options. What we're going to do is just install some of the common ones. I'll do Pip Install Numpy, and we'll go out and find the NumPy package that's compatible with Python 3.7 and install it. It actually downloads a wheel file, a WHL file, and then we'll also look for any dependencies that that package needs. Now it's installing the NumPy package right now. You just go ahead and leave this window open until it completes. And what you want to see is that it successfully installed the NumPy package. And your version number might be a little bit different if there's some upgrades to that package. The other thing you can do is just look for any packages that are installed already. Okay, so we have NumPy, Pip, and setup tools. So we don't have very many right now. We're going to do Pip Install, and then I'll do SciPy as well. And this has a dependency of NumPy. So it checks for that. It's going to download this and then install it. And if it needs any dependencies, it will automatically add those as well. So SciPy is a little bit larger. NumPy was about 10 megabytes. SciPy is about 26 megabytes. And in prior packages, this didn't work very well. You had to have compilers and other things, but now it's been fixed for Python 3.7, so now you can just pip install from Python 3.7. The other thing you can do is if you have a wheel file that you've downloaded from PyPy or some other website that you want to install, you can just install locally. You just have to do pip install and then the full file name of your wheel file. Okay, now we're also going to do matplotlib. And this one's going to have a number of other dependencies, so we'll see that install some of the other dependencies that matplotlib has. So you can see the other packages that it needed to download in order for matplotlib to work. So there's a couple others like 6, Python date util, Kiwi solver, pyparsing cycler, pytz, and then matplotlib. So it's installing all of those. It recognized that it couldn't run without some of those other packages, and it's successfully installed. And you can do that with other packages as well. So if I do pip install gecko, I can install that, and that's going to have some other dependencies. Or I can do, okay, so setup is running, and it's installing some of these other packages as well for the web browser and Flask, and then you can do other ones like pip install APMonitor. And if you want to uninstall it later, you can just do pip uninstall APMonitor, and so you can manage your packages, and it'll ask you if you want to proceed. Just select yes, and then it will uninstall it for you. Okay, so that's how you add and remove packages. If you do pip list now, you're going to see the list of packages with their version numbers. Now the other thing that I'd like to recommend as well is if you just want a comprehensive Python package with a very nice IDE, integrated development environment, and also the Jupyter Notebook, I do recommend Anaconda. So if you just search for Anaconda download, and then you can go to download. Okay, you can download Anaconda. There's actually going to be continuum.io is the, let's see if I can find that. Okay, maybe I need to search download Anaconda. Okay, they've made it a little harder to find, but I'll just go to this website and download Anaconda. And then we have a couple different options for Windows, Mac OS, and then Linux as well. The current version is Python 3.6, but my guess is they'll update that to Python 3.7 fairly soon. So there's also a 64-bit or a 32-bit. If you have a 64-bit computer, it doesn't really matter which one you install, but I do recommend installing the 64-bit if it's available. Okay, so there is our installation for Python. Let's go ahead and test this just with a sample script. I'm just going to create a new text document, and I'll call this test.py. Now, if it doesn't change, it'll ask you if you want to change the file extension, and click yes. If it doesn't change to something like that, it means that you are not showing your file extensions. So just come here to your Windows Explorer, and then go to View, and then we're going to go to Options. Okay, we're going to change some folder options, and then go to View, and make sure this is unselected to hide extensions for known file types, because we need to change the file extension to a .py file. And then click OK. And then you might have a .txt here. Just go ahead and edit that. Rename this file and remove the .txt. Change it to a .py file. Next we can click Edit with IDLE. This is the newly installed Python. This is an editor. And we'll just go ahead and print hello world, save it, and then run module. And we'll run the module and print out hello world. So we have Python installed, and then we can also test to make sure we have some of our packages installed as well. So let's just go ahead and test this. We'll import numpy as np, and then we'll print np linspace 0 to 10 with 11 values. And when we run that, we'll see those 11 values. Okay, 0 through 10, and then our hello world. Okay, so Python is running. The other thing I wanted to show you after Windows, after we've gone through all of these steps right here, is how to install Python on Linux. Also, I'll do this on Windows Subsystem for Linux. This is available on Windows 10. So if you already have Windows Subsystem for Linux, this shows a command prompt that's equivalent to what you would find on most Linux distributions. Some of them are going to use the yum package manager. The Ubuntu one uses the apt. And so we're just going to do sudo apt install python3. And then you'll need to use your password, your administrative password for that. And so it says it's already at the latest version. You can also do python3-pip, and then you just have to select yes to continue, and then it will go out and get the Python 3 pip package so that you can install additional packages with your Python distribution. Okay, so it's going to go ahead and install all of those. This is had to have a lot of compilers and other things that needed to install with that. But you can see the progress bar there. It's about 4% done. I'll go ahead and pause it, and then once this is done, we'll continue on. Okay, it's almost done, and just had to install a lot of compilers and other options. And now that that's done, now we have pip3 available, which you can do pip3 install numpy, for example, and it will go out and locate numpy, download it for your Python distribution that's, in this case, on Windows Subsystem for Linux or on your Ubuntu distribution. You can also, again, use the yum package to get these if you're on CentOS or another Python, like a Red Hat distribution. Okay, so it's going to go and collect numpy and then install it. Now if you need to install, you can upgrade your pip if it didn't work correctly. So we just installed that. I don't know why it's saying to upgrade it at this point. The other thing we have is Python 2.7. That's also available, and you can install that with sudo apt install python, okay, without the 3 there, and that'll ask you if you want to install just the Python 2.7. I'm just going to select no. Okay, so if I select Python, okay, we have Python 3. So if you're going to run something, you need to run it as Python 3 and then your script name after that, and then you can run it. So let's just try that. Let's just go ahead and now we have numpy. I want to run this one, the test.py. So I'm going to change directory to my C drive, users, and my desktop. Okay, I'm there now, and I'll try Python 3, and I'll run test.py, and it gave the same result that I had before. I'm just running this one that's on the desktop, but with the Linux distribution as part of the Windows Subsystem for Linux. Okay, that's it for this installation tutorial. There are more Python tutorials if you go to my course website. Just go to APMonitor.com/CHE263. And this is for scientists and engineers who want to learn about Python and how to solve problems. You have the Python course. And then I also have, as part of this, if you're interested, there is the course project. And this one has some hardware where you can program and get data and use Python to do things like build loops, plots, and regressions, and control a heater to do temperature control. So there are 3 different exercises there on loops, plots, and regressions, interpolate and solve equations, and also determine thermal conductivity. So just some lab exercises that use Python with an Arduino to get real data and to do some data analysis. Hope you enjoyed this video, and go ahead and leave any comments or questions down below.